Hey y'all. Hey Tara. Hey Shasi. What's up? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back while y'all coming in. Hey, Mr. Logistics. Hey, Lady B. Hey, Dark Hell. Come on in. I'm ready to talk about this mother-son situation. I know, right? They have always given that dynamic. Like both of them give, like she does have a very like stern, strict, motherly demeanor. And he gives very much teenager, like rebellious teenager. And it completely played out like that in the end. Very crazy. Hi, Marie B. Okay, so while you guys are coming in, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all to make sure you shop LaVitaRosaStyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing now. I'm gonna be adding some more key earrings very soon, so watch out for that, as well as my little handmade wire ring jewelry. Y'all make sure y'all check those out as well. Handmade, custom, unique, all that, as well as check out my past videos. If you love Love is Blind, the After the Altar special came out and I did review that. A lot of people said they didn't even know it came out until they saw my review. So just in case y'all didn't know, they did do an After the Altar special, kind of like a Where Are They Now type of thing. And also, in case you missed the ultimatum, I did review that as well. That's on my channel. I plan to review a show called The Love Experiment. I don't know if y'all have heard of it. I kind of caught onto it late. It's on like episode 4 right now. I do plan to review that. I have not finished the episodes yet, but once I finish them, I will put a review up. If y'all like it, then I'll keep reviewing it. But if nobody watches it, I most likely am not. But it's really good, y'all. It's about 3 young ladies, and it's almost like a live dating app. They walk through this hall of men, and the men have their little information on like a tablet in front of them, and they decorated the room in there with their different interests. The women choose the men. The men are not slouches. They're men that actually have jobs and something to do, very attractive men. And what I really like about the show is that the women, they're in complete control. They choose the men, they choose when they go home. And yeah, it's been pretty interesting to me so far. It's Black show. I was completely, for it to be on MTV, I was shocked that it was 3 Black women and then choosing from majority Black men. I was a little, it was a little shaky for me because I was like, I was a little nervous because show, networks like Netflix, MTV, these different dating shows, Black women, they don't tend to get a fair shake. But I do think they did a good job of choosing men that were actually interested in Black women. And plus, they're the only ones there to choose from. So it's not like they can be picked apart or picked over. So yeah, I really do like this show. Please check it out if you haven't, because I think it's good and I think they deserve to have another season, but I don't see many people talking about it. That's why I wanted to go ahead and mention it now so y'all can, be on the lookout for it. I am going to be posting reviews coming up soon. Also, this is going to be random, but Obsessed just dropped on Netflix a couple of days ago, I think, and I want to talk about it because there's like this huge debate on whether or not Beyonce can act, and it made me want to go back and watch it. So look out for that video coming soon. I'm still doing Matilda for those looking for that one too. I just got so busy with other content I wanted to put on my channel. I just didn't want to put it all out at the same time. I want to kind of like stretch it out. So I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I just want to make sure to let y'all know that I do have other content coming soon. Okay, let's see who came in. Hey, Toria. The Love Experiment is really good. It really is, y'all. The Love Experiment is really good. And I think that it's not getting the shine that it deserves. I want people to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want a show like that to come out on MTV and flop. But then we'll sit up here and we'll watch Love and Hip Hop. You see, they getting all kind of like press these days for all the wrong reasons. When this is like a very, it still has a little drama because, it's like one of those up love type of shows, but it's not like ghetto, if that makes sense. It's not low vibrational. Let me say that, because it doesn't get too trashy. I like that they have like more upstanding individuals, people that don't like hit below the belt. Now I could be wrong, child. I haven't watched all the episodes. I might be talking myself into a hole right now, but I don't know. I just like it. Those earrings are cute, but that show sounds interesting. Thank you, and make sure you check it out. It is interesting. Hey Pinky, I enjoy the Love Experiment as well. It seems more authentic than a lot of dating shows. It does seem a lot more authentic. The women, they seem like the women are authentic, period. But I think the men on there, they seem like they're a little bit more genuine than some of these men, especially like on this show. We're gonna get into it, but not obsessed. I'm not gonna start the acting conversation on this video because I know how that will go, but we will go there. Like seeing the women being pursued instead of the other way around on the Love Experiment. You think it's the other way around, that the men are not pursuing the women on the Love Experiment? MTV in their 90s producing era, and I'm here for it. Yes, they need to get back to that, because they used to have some of the best reality shows of all time. I mean, The Real World. But I don't know what happened. It just, all they play is ridiculousness all day long. So hopefully they do get back to that. Beyonce seems to play the same character. Yeah, I agree. I think Beyonce plays herself a lot. But let me stop because I don't want to get into it. Child, that's his own video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I didn't talk about last week's episode. I did want to touch on it. I don't think I'm going to go through every single thing that happened on the last episode, but I did want to touch on it because y'all know that whole blow up happened with Janelle. So I do want to discuss that. So, because we already know, like, the cabin trip, that's going to bring drama regardless, because we see people fighting over the same person. But the difference with this season is no one has a true connection. I feel like we've been looking at Aries and Phil, and yeah, they vibe, they have chemistry. But as we see on the next episode, you need a little bit more than that at this age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad Aries is starting to open her eyes to that. But every time we turn around, he was rubbing her feet. And I love that she's saying, look, that's not enough. Okay. And we'll get to that. And then I guess the only other connection that I could really, kind of someone say that there is Janelle and Quentin. And it just feels territorial on her end. Like she just wants to mark her territory. Like she was just being rude to the other women in the house. It's not like y'all are not on a TV show that is about dating, like everyone dating everyone. Like, and we'll get to it. But what I was really trying to say with that is no one really has a connection coming into this. And usually by the cabin trip, there are connections. And then we have Cat coming in here talking about some starting over. Girl, we're at the end. Like, shouldn't they be at the point where they're like locking each other down? We know she don't want Morier. We know you don't want Morier. I'm not saying that Morier would not be interested in her. She's a gorgeous woman, but I don't even think he really wants to be with her either. Like, they don't have a connection. She was trying to um you know talk to Chris, and that felt very forced. Chris was clearly trying to find every connection that he could, because he knew he would be on his way out if he didn't. But I don't even think Chris is really into Cat in that way. I think on their first date they had a little chemistry, but I don't really see it. Okay, so let's see. I'm not going to talk about. I wrote down a bunch of notes, but I'm not going to talk about all this. Oh yeah, Sierra and Morier. So Sierra put Morier on blast in front of the group for not pursuing her the way that she would like to be pursued. But it's also like, Sierra, you're very surface level and you're not really giving much. You're like Herbert. You're like the female version of Herbert to me. Like, you're not, don't act like you're really interested in Morier or anyone there. Like, you make a joke out of everything. You don't really like these men. And there was a point where they were I don't know, they were playing some sort of card game, and they were answering questions, and they asked if they had ever messed around with someone of the same sex, and she said yes, she did, but she could never bring someone like that home. And it made me think, like, Sierra, do you really like women? Because I just didn't see Sierra connect with any man here. Like, anytime I saw her talking to him, like, it wasn't a connection. It was more like almost like a homies type of thing. But I just did not see her connecting with them. So I don't know. Like, it just did not surprise me that she wasn't connecting with them, because she wasn't giving. But I did agree with her when she said that she just didn't want to teach a man how to pursue her. But I could also see where Morier was coming from. Like, I'm trying to call you and you're not calling me back. Like, you're going to have to give some as well. But she did at one point threaten to go home. And I wish she would have why did you not just eliminate yourself? Like, you don't want Morier. No one else is there for you. Just leave. Even though she's entertaining, it's funny to have her there because she adds that comedic relief. But I don't know. Like, and then at one point, Morier admitted to never have been in love, and I feel like that gave her the out that she needed. So I don't know. It didn't shock me that Sierra went home, because she needed to. I'm surprised Sierra was there as long as she was, to be honest. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's get into the whole Lee versus Janelle round one that happened. So Quentin was outside barbecuing, shirtless, with short shorts on and an apron. So he kind of looked like he was naked. It was like a whole thing, like, oh, you're butt booty naked. Everybody thought that was hilarious. This trip made me see that Quentin is attention starved. Like, he wants to be the center of attention at all times, and he'll be goofy. He'll try to be, look sexy. He'll do anything to try to be the center of attention, and that is so annoying to me. That's so annoying to me. Like, chill out. So Kat was next to him, and she was like flirting while he was barbecuing or whatever. And then all the women, the consensus is all the women when they try to talk to Q, they notice that Janelle is not far behind, right? She's gonna make her presence known, and she's gonna mark her territory anytime, and she's gonna do it in a very dominant way, right? So Janelle came out and was trying to break up whatever they had going on. Kat at one point said, "You know what? You can come on down. I don't mind sharing." And she was like, "You're not. He's mine." It was like, why are you being so loud, right? Like, it just, it didn't make any sense why she responded that way. You're not. He's my. It just felt like an episode of Moesha or something. It was very catty, childish, like high school type of claiming, you know? Um, and so at one point she said, well, does everyone else know? And she's like, it doesn't matter. He does. And I look, the animosity clearly was not called for at all. But I would have exited stage left because when she asked Quentin, are you spoken for? He said yes. So at that point, I would have been like, my bad. And I would have let all the other women that like Quentin know that he's spoken for. Because I thought we were out all mingling. I didn't know y'all was locked in. I didn't know y'all was locked in. So yeah, I didn't like that. He thinks it's cute though. Like he tries to act like, oh, I want a mature woman. He likes when women are fighting over him, and he likes her behavior. He thinks that's cute. It makes him feel like a prize. Because I'll never forget that date he went on with Lee, Janelle, and his ex, and he said something that made Lee not want to say much more after that. He was like, well, you know, this other woman next to you wants your man, you need to be trying to fight. That's what he likes. And I ain't got time for that. Okay. I'm not gonna be fight like, yeah, we can all date and then we choose who we want at the end of the day, but I'm not gonna sit up here and fight for you and go back and forth with another woman over you. See, that's the type of thing him and Herbert were doing, but they were doing it in a more friendly way. It wasn't like nasty, it didn't get ugly. You know what I'm saying? But they were being competitive. But Janelle takes it to a nasty catty level that I would not be into. Let's see. So let's move on to this conversation that they all had as a group playing this game. I don't know. I forgot how this got started, but dang, I don't remember the question at all. I think it was about gender roles. And so Chris spoke up and he said that he doesn't agree with equality between men and women in this society. Yeah, because we know you want an indentured servant. You want complete servitude. That's what your ex said. So that doesn't shock me. Okay. I wish the women that were his matches or the people that he was dating, I wish I would have really listened to what he was saying, because all they heard was, well, I'll take care of all the bills. And they just started clapping, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a provider, but in exchange, I'm not going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you hand and foot, or I'm not going to have equal footing in this marriage, or I'm not going to have a say in what's going on, because that's what he wants. So he also said men should be leaders because women are more emotional. So that completely solidified that he's misogynistic and like a male chauvinist. Like, what? Because we clearly see that men get very emotional. And by the end of this review, we'll see you at the height of your emotions. But Jessica, she did chime in. She said, basically she didn't agree with that. And she doesn't agree with basically being considered masculine just because she's an independent woman and, she's a boss, right? And she can carry her own financially. He got in his feelings. He didn't say this to the group. And see, this is what I don't like about Chris. He had a lot to say about Jessica behind her back, but he never said anything in her presence. So in his confessional, he said, and that's why she's going to end up alone with cats, because she's always want to argue and she doesn't want to change. And and then at some point he said he felt like women shouldn't pay bills, and of course Cat was clapping. It's like, Cat, you need to see what caliber of man this is before you start clapping over things like that, because some of these men, yeah, they'll pay all the bills, but they'll want to be in control of your life because of it. Like you'll be completely indebted to him. He'll hold the purse strings and he'll use that to control you because he's the man, he's paying all the bills. So this is when Janelle chimed in, and she said, if God made us a helpmeet, and then we'll need to be able to carry the same weight in a relationship. And Kat and Sierra was like, they're not carrying no weight in a relationship. And honestly, at the end of the day, y'all, all of this is personal preference. If you find a man that wants to come in and pay all of the bills and you don't pay nothing, that's great for you and that man. And if you want to be with a man and y'all are 50-50 and y'all both carry both away, that's great for that relationship too. It's individual. It's each individual relationship. One size does not fit all when it comes to relationship. As long as you two agree and both are happy with the setup of what's going on, that's on you. But also make sure you understand the mindset of the man that you're dealing with. That's all I'm saying with the whole Chris thing. I don't see anything wrong with man paying all the bills, but make sure you know who is paying all the bills, because there's some men that will use that against you. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, Kat and Sierra was like, no. And they basically, they're done being an alpha and masculine. They want to basically live that soft girl lifestyle. Janelle said that it's sad that carrying her weight is considered masculine. Kat said, that's really not what I'm saying at all. And Janelle cut her off to say, I'm not saying that's what you're saying. And the thing is, Janelle, it's not even what you're saying, it's how you say it. It's how you come at the women. It's how you are defending what you're saying. Like, y'all can disagree and y'all can agree to disagree, but it's like you're telling her she's wrong, and you're like coming at her in a very, like, I don't want to say combative because that's the word of the day, but yes, in a very combative way. And it didn't call for all of that. Kat called her out for being rude, which she is, and Janelle was saying all type of derogatory things about her, called them raggedy bees. And I just thought I thought she went too far. Like, of course, Janelle's been going too far this whole time, but calling people out of their name and things, it just didn't have to go there. It didn't have to escalate the way it did. You know what I'm saying? Like, it did not have to go there. Janelle does give pick me energy for sure. For sure. She does give that. I don't know. It went too far. It didn't have to go that far. And then Quentin, you've been encouraging this behavior pretty much. And now when it gets even bigger, to now you're embarrassed. Now you want to say, oh, you want somebody that can handle conflict better. And you don't want you want somebody that can be more mature. No, because I want you to know, because somebody said in the comments, and I totally agree. Somebody said, yeah, she's talking like this to, the women in this group now. But if y'all get together, she'll be talking like that to your mama and your sister, because she just has a problem with women. If that's what I'm getting from it. Like, she has a problem with women, because the men, even when she confronts the men, it's not to the degree that she does with women. She always goes there with the women. But with the men, it's like, it's a lot easier. It's like, I don't know, especially on Quentin. Like, we'll never see her reprimand Quentin unless he like flirts with another woman in front of her, which he never would because he know better. He'll never go there. She'll never go there with her. I love what these holy rollers have worse personalities. And that's the other thing. Like you are so saved and sanctified when you were sitting with this woman and she brought them cards, which I didn't blame you. But then you're quick to cuss somebody out. Your temperament goes from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are your fruits? Anyway. And she be putting hands on people. She'll fight your mama. That's funny. For real though. You need to watch out for that. So now let's move on to this elimination between Sierra and Jessica. We know Sierra went home. She needed to go home. I'm glad. Go home to your Birkins, baby. You need to. Sierra low-key need to go home too. But the elimination is what was the catalyst for all of the drama that happened on this episode. When Morier was telling Jessica, why the men had her in the bottom this week, he mentioned that they think that she's combative. And first of all, let me read the definition of combative. Ready or eager to fight, pugnacious. First of all, Morier did deliver the message wrong because only one person said that she was combative. And during the elimination, he said the men think that she's combative. And that's not true. Because Morier, you said you don't think that she is. Phil later on said that he didn't think that she is. Quinn never said that. One person said it. So he did deliver it wrong. And I could understand. Now I might have an unpopular opinion, but I can understand why Jessica was upset that she was called combative, because I don't really think that that is a proper word to describe Jessica. Now, I can only think of like, I don't know. Seeing Jessica on this show, I wouldn't describe her as combative. Janelle, for sure, she's the definition of combative, right? And I could see, maybe associating her with Janelle. She's friends with her. She defends her, so I could understand maybe guilty by association. But I really don't think that she's combative. I do think that's the wrong word. Now, I wrote down some words that I do think describe her. I think she's passive aggressive. I think she's unapproachable. I think she has mean girl tendencies, especially when she gets around Janelle. I think she could be uptight. I think she could be standoffish, guarded, whatever the opposite of flirty is, okay? Because she don't have a flirty bone in her body, right? All of that could be true. But I really don't get combative. Now, maybe y'all can think of some instances where she is cold. That's another one. I could see cold. But I just don't get I don't get combative. So they get in the house and everybody's sitting together in the living room. At one point, Chris is checking on Morier because Morier is stressing out about having to send somebody home. And he knows that Jessica is upset about, that word combative. And she's like, why are you checking on him and not checking on Jessica? He was like, well, we could check on everybody. Chris acts like a teenager. Oh my goodness. Janelle told the men, like, she felt like that wasn't the right word to use, especially for a Black woman, the whole stereotype. And I feel like that was the wrong messenger. Okay. Because Janelle is very much combative. Yeah, yeah. Uh, you just the wrong person to be saying that. Phil said that he didn't feel that way, and that wasn't the consensus amongst the men. That wasn't the verbiage that all of them use, right? And Chris was chiming in agreement. It's like, you're the one that said it. So he was really trying to play it off like he's not the one that said it. And then at some point, Jessica was like, well, who said it then? And nobody wanted to snitch. Morier ended up getting up and walking out. And look, Chris should have stepped up as a man and admitted that he said it. I like you, everybody knows it was you. You should admit that it was you. And that was very cowardly for him to just let Morier take all that heat. Um, but also Morier, either you should have stuck around and confronted Chris and snitch. Like, I don't know how that was snitching, but you should have confronted him about it, or you should have just ate it. But getting up and leaving, that was a little cowardly too. And then later on in the episode, he apologized. Morier apologized to Jessica, and he did seem like he was genuinely sorry for, being the one to say that in front of everybody. Because at the end of the day, Morier did not have to use the word combative. Like, he could have said any other thing, but he said the word combative. And so, he did apologize, and he still didn't tell on Chris for whatever reason. I would have said something, but she told him that she's never been combative. And the crazy part is, when you constantly say somebody is something, like you constantly call somebody like, are you mad, are you mad, you mad, I could legit not be mad, but when you poke me enough or you say something about me like that, I could become angry. And I think that's kind of what happened with Jessica was very combative this episode. I feel like this is the most we've seen her get into it with others this episode, because that's what she was called. I do think she was like working overtime trying to defend herself and really trying to get Chris exposed, so it's kind of like you did see her kind of combative, but I don't think we've seen that from her the rest of this season. But yeah, she basically felt like she was labeled unfairly. And I ain't gonna lie, I think Jessica was stirring the pot. They had a little side conversation, and she was like, yeah, you need to be mad at the person that said combative, but you also need to be mad at Morier for saying it in front of everybody. And so I think had she not had that conversation with Janelle, I think she probably would have forgave Morier easier, because I still feel like her and Morier were in some sort of alliance to keep each other in the game, because they have no chemistry at all. I think she was really mad that they're supposed to be like in a alliance, and he went against her. Um so yeah, she really did not, she didn't forgive him. She didn't like that he said that. Okay, what am I gonna move on to next? So before we get to the big blow up at the end, uh so the men decided to go fishing. Well, actually, all of them eventually came outside and went fishing. None of them really knew what they were doing, especially Quentin. Once again, he had to be the center of attention, flopping his rod all around. Oh, I don't know how to fish. Like, it was so annoying. Um, And so Lee comes over and tries to help him, and here comes Janelle hollering, "Babe, you out here fishing, babe? You gonna catch us a fish?" Like, it's like she has some sort of tracking device on this man, and anytime any woman come close to her, she has to make her presence known. She was doing the most, but he was doing the most right back with her. So he empowers her to act like that. So I would just leave that situation alone if I were Lee and Cat. Um, And then we see Chris give Lee a gift that was very forced and fake. He got her some sandals. He got her some sandals. Were they name brand? I don't know. I don't know. It felt fake, just like the whole sit down with him felt fake. And he had a fake date with Aries doing archery. Very hollow. None of it made any sense because clearly y'all have no real connection. Then we see Kat and Morier. I'm not even gonna go into their date because there's no connection there, just desperation. They just want to stay on the show. That's what it's giving. Sorry. Then we see Q and Janelle on a date. Once again, I don't see anything between them. Janelle, but I will say this, there is some lust there. I'm sorry. Something went down between these two. You can't tell me any different. And then we have Aries and Phil. I think Aries is realizing that yes, she has chemistry with Phil. She has fun with him. But I feel like it's more so of a fling between those two. Nothing long term. Like I don't see her being with him long term, and you could tell that she doesn't because she keeps asking him about stability when it comes to these business ventures. Like she wants more substance. You could tell that's probably somebody that she would choose in the past, but she trying to make better decisions when it comes to dating. And I feel like she would have been gung ho for him had her friends not met him and told her like, "Girl, I don't know." Because I feel like that kind of opened her eyes. Ever since then, she's been questioning him on his income and things like that, and I don't blame her. She's at an age where she don't want to play no more games. She probably ready to really settle down, get married, and look for a father to her children. So, good for Aries. Now we're moving on to the ladies' lounge. Hasn't Aries been married 3 times? I did not. I missed that. No wonder she taking her time. Good grief, Aries. I didn't know she was married 3 times. Okay, let me stop reading the comments so I can get through this. So then we had the ladies' lounge. Janelle decided that she wanted to act right because she didn't want Quentin to be eliminated. I thought that was hilarious that she even said that out of her mouth. That means Janelle knows how to act, but she chooses to act up because she gets away with it. So then we see Jessica. She brought up the fact that she knows that Chris was the one that called her combative while ironically becoming combative with the other women. That was like, that wasn't lost on me. Like, because I don't know, I've never seen her act like that with the ladies lounge, but I'm not gonna lie, she was combative, but I think it's because she was trying so hard to defend herself, and also she was pushing hard for Chris to go home. And I'm not mad at her for calling Chris out because he was lying. So Aries, Kat, and Lee said that Chris told them that he didn't say it, and that's clearly damage control. Clearly. Aries said that Morier is still the one that used the word. He could have said any other word, and I will give her that. Morier really could have used any other word, but he chose to use combative, and so a lot of this should fall on him. Jessica said that basically Chris is a coward because he didn't own up to it and he's letting another man take the fall, and I agree with that. And at some point during the ladies' lounge, Lee told everyone that Chris bought her these sandals, right? And so this is where Jessica lost me, because she told Lee, or she said in front of the group, unfortunately, he just can't buy me anything. And that was definitely shade towards Lee. And Lee caught wind of that shade and she felt away. And she also said that Chris said that he wished he had the Jessica that Morier has. And she was trying to make it seem like, I don't know what she was trying to say. Like, I was so confused of why she even brought that up, because what does that have to do with Lee and her connection with him? Lee basically told her he just had a bad experience with you. Y'all didn't connect, and so it shifted your position. It shifted your relationship with him, and y'all are just not a match. And Jessica was trying to dismiss her and say, "Oh, these women are just not following what I'm saying." And Lee was like, "It's not that hard to follow." Like, she was trying to call them dumb, and I'm just like, mind you, these women were being manipulated by Chris. But Jessica, you were doing the most with them, and it didn't take all that. Like, they can have a different experience from you. You're just mad because, first of all, you already, y'all had a vendetta against each other already. But that combative word just sent it into overdrive, and anybody that wasn't on your side, or didn't have your back, you felt some type of way. So it came out as combativeness. And Lee is trying to stay in the game. I agree with that too. I do, because I don't see her really connecting with Quentin or Chris. All right, so let's get to this. I did not expect to be talking this long. So let's get into this elimination with Jessica. We already know Morier didn't go home, so I'm not even gonna go into that. I don't even know how Morier is still here. Y'all. But anyway, I have to say that this scene between Jessica and Chris was poorly edited. I want to see the raw footage. I want to see everything that was said. I want to see it in the order that it was said, because the way that they pieced everything together, this did not make sense how it escalated the way it did. Now, I'm not saying anybody, I'm not saying that Chris was right, but it just didn't make any sense how it got there because of what they left out. Like, I know it didn't go like that. So anyway, it was very disjointed and pieced together, and it just didn't make any sense the way they presented it, and I didn't like that. Also, the fact that y'all even got Jessica to be the one to eliminate him was very shady. But anyway, so they're sitting down having a conversation, and they are like rehashing why they didn't work. Y'all are just not a match. It is what it is. There was no need to go back and forth over that. He claims that he wanted softness out of her, and you want a servant. You want someone that bends to your every whim. That's what you want. Now, if she's cold, standoffish, um, all the other adjectives I used to describe her in the beginning of this review, yes, but we're not going to ignore his behavior either. And his ego really could not take being eliminated. So when she told him that he was not ready to love, he got all in his feelings. At first he was lying about not being, he lied like he wasn't the one that called her combative, and I feel like he really should have at least took responsibility on your way out. At least take responsibility on your way out. But he feels like she's been bashing him behind the scenes, and she was like, clearly you're upset about something. And so at that point he was like, well, you and Janelle are mean girls, and y'all are combative. And she told him he was angry about something that has nothing to do with her, and you're assuming that it does. And that's another part that I just felt like something was being left out. Like, it just felt like that is not how the conversation went. Like, it was out of order or something. You know what I'm saying? Do I think she was poking him a little bit? Do I think that she was kind of adding fuel to the fire a little bit? Like, she knew where to poke him, how to get him upset? Yeah, I do think she was doing a little bit of that, because she was mad at him for calling her that and never admitting it. I do think that. But I also think this man is not in control of his own emotions, because he was getting too wired up. He was getting too fired up. Way too fired up. And then at one point he was like, I'm trying to respect you as a woman, but you know, show me no respect as a man. Trying, like, you have to try to respect her. And how is she disrespecting you as a man? Like, I don't know. I just didn't see her emasculating him. I could be wrong. Did y'all see? Maybe there was an instance where she did. I didn't see that. I never saw that. And so she said, "You sure? At one point, did you feel disrespected?" And that's when we see him blow up. We don't know what actually caused him to say what he said, but he said, "You don't know ish about me, so F you and F everything about you." And he was very loud, very combative, aggressive, childish, and very emotional. Because you claim women are too emotional to be leaders, but the way you handled this elimination, you handled it like a spoiled little child that didn't get their way. Your ego was so bruised that you got sent home by a woman that y'all just didn't work out. And you go off on her in that way and disrespectful and cursing her out. And at some point he called her evil and everything. I'm just like, you're that deep in your feelings over this little reality show? Are you crazy? I was completely baffled. I could not believe that he went off on her in that way. I thought that was so uncalled for. And yes, like I said, do I feel like she's passive aggressive? Very much. Do I think that she was pushing his buttons? Yes. Do she was low key smirking when he was getting worked up? Because I'll give you that. I'll give you that too. But I still don't think nothing that we saw that she said deserved for him to go off for her in that manner. Let me see. Let me see what y'all are saying. Poorly edited. I want to see the chair he threw. He threw a chair. It was choppy, but he was out of line. Thing. Yes. Please support LaVitaRosaStyle.com. Thank you, Tyronda. Right. Why choose Jessica when they have seen what happens in the past? Chris is extremely disrespectful to women. I don't think Chris is being truthful about a lot of things. Me too. He has major issues lying and flying off the handle. She had the perfect passive aggressive resting B face. She said, I'm going to expose you, and she did. I totally agree. I totally agree. She came in with a mission and she was successful. When he started cursing, no sir. Exactly. I was baffled. I couldn't believe he did that. His masculinity is fragile. At one point, I thought he was going to go across the table. Yeah, the way he was balling his lips up and cursing her out, I didn't like that. He was going too far with that. He's unhinged. That's a good word, which is unfortunate. Which unfortunately, a lot of men I notice around mental health needs to be more accepted because his behavior with men, yeah, I didn't like that either. He said she needs to respect him as a man behind closed doors. So what's going on behind closed doors? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like something is being left out of the conversation. They cut out so much. I definitely think Jessica said more than what we saw, but nothing that warrants him to speak like that. That's exactly what I think. I think she said more, but we didn't see it. But I don't think she said anything that would produce him to have to go off on her and curse her out. Like unless she spoke on his mother who is passed, I don't understand why he went there. She was holding the no, he was holding the wine glass in a threatening manner, in my opinion. I'm kind of embarrassed because he was my pick. Even every season, I picked the wrong guy. It's okay, girl. I was giving him the side eye from the beginning, low key. He probably went outside shaking and crying. Child, this is not the first time that we've seen a man act up being eliminated. and go off on the woman. This is not the first time we've seen that. So his reaction was disproportionate. Yes. For them to get rid of him over Morier says something to me. The only connection Morier had left was Kay versus Chris. I do agree with that too. I am glad they did eliminate Chris based off of this behavior right here. But before that, I think Morier definitely should have got sent home before Chris. On Twitter, either Jessica or someone else said he threw a chair in rage. Did he throw it at her? Child, that is so trifling. Oh my goodness, and scary. Like, why are you throwing chairs? The same men who say women are this and that are the same who act as women and be too emotional. I agree. It's those same men that call women too emotional and say this and that about men. They're hypocrites because they're the same exact way. As soon as a woman turns them down, they want to call them all out of their name and want to say all these terrible things, and you are no better. She probably said something about his hairpiece not blending in. Tara, I am hollering. He wearing a hairpiece. Is he really? Now, if he really wore his real hairline, I bet you he'll look his age. Allegedly, Janelle and Jessica accused Chris of being gay, which would better explain his outburst. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he still should not have gone off on her and cursing her out the way that he did. But if that happened, that is extremely disrespectful, and I could see where the anger would come from. Not him throwing chairs, not him cursing her out, but being angry about that and giving her a piece of his mind about that. If that's what happened, I could see that. And that's something I could see Janelle and Jessica doing. Now, see that I could see that I could totally see them doing that. That's some mean girl stuff right there. Especially for his culture, that would be disrespectful. Yeah, if that's what happened, y'all, I can't have Jessica's back on that one. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's nasty work. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I could see where the anger comes from. Now you not throwing chairs now. I want to make that clear. And not cursing her out even. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Mm-mm. But y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off this live because I'm gonna be jumping right back on live, and I'm gonna be talking about The Ultimatum and Love is Blind. So if y'all like those shows, or even if you don't, if you want to just come hang out, come on. It's about to start at 8, so I need to go ahead and hop off of here so I can hop back on and go ahead and get that going. Shout out to everybody that's in here. It's 56 people in here. Make sure you like the video on your way out. Shop Okay, make sure y'all shop my jewelry, and yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next live.